Hey guys, we're going to talk about our next story and our next character trait, which is going to be generosity. We're going to look at the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 and how generous he was with all of those people. So I'm going to turn to John chapter 6 in my Bible, and it's verses 1 through 15, and I'm going to read it to you. And it goes like this. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far side of the Sea of Galilee, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the miraculous signs he had performed on the sick. Then Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover feast was near. When Jesus looked up and saw a great cloud coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" Guys, it just started raining. He asked this only to test him, for he had already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered him, 8 months' wages would not buy enough bread for each one to have a bite. Another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, and the men sat down, about 5,000 of them. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. When they had had enough to eat, he said to the disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. After the people saw the miraculous signs that Jesus did, they began to say, "Surely this is the prophet who is going to come into the world." All right, so let's talk about it a little bit. So a great cloud of people had come to hear Jesus. Jesus taught the people all afternoon. The disciples thought it was time to send the people home to get something to eat. But Jesus told the disciples that they needed to find something for the people to eat. The disciples were shocked because they didn't even have enough money or food to feed all those 5,000 people. Then a disciple named Andrew saw a small boy with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. They asked the boy to share his lunch, and he did. So the little boy was generous, just like Jesus was generous. Jesus told the people to sit down in groups on the grass. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish and looked toward the heavens. He prayed for the food. He started breaking the bread into pieces and giving the food to the disciples to hand out. Everyone ate as much as they wanted, and there were still 12 baskets of food left over. The small boy was generous by sharing his food with all the large crowd. Jesus was generous because he wanted to feed all 5,000 people. Generosity means to give without expecting something in return. I want you to find a way that you can be generous to someone in your house today. It's not always easy to be generous. Sometimes we want to keep our things to ourselves, but we always have to take care of those around us, and we can do that by being generous. All right, we'll see you later.